What up, fight fans and family? It's your boy Zane coming at you with another boxing video. So today, man, I know it's been a while, but I want to talk about the controversy with the updated boxing list, the pound for pound list. You know, historically, pound for pound lists the best boxers in the world, regardless of weight division, based off of pedigree, style, defensive applications, offensive applications, boxing, ring IQ, just the greatest pure boxers and boxing punchers who perfected what they do and deserve to be recognized regardless of weight division. I will say historically too that the pound for pound list has never featured heavyweights, because the pound for pound list was created to give other boxers a name and a face, you know. So as the heavyweight division goes, so goes the sport of boxing. You know, it's always been like that. Pound for pound list was designed to give boxers of other weight divisions, you know, a face, a voice, let audiences know that all the excitement isn't just at the biggest weight where people always get knocked out, but they're in lower weight divisions. They showcase the beauty of boxing, what boxing is about. So it's never featured heavyweight fighters. But there's a problem right now with the current premier pound for pound list. That premier pound for pound list being made by none other than ESPN, the biggest boxing organization, sports organization in the world. Like it or not, ESPN, anything sports covers. You know, they cover anything sports. You know, they might not know always what they're talking about when it comes to boxing, but say the least casuals are going to feed into it, they're going to read into it, and they're going to take it heart for heart. I mean, take it by heart. So there's a problem right now. ESPN has an updated pound for pound list with the likes of a couple fighters. You got Terrence Crawford, of course, at number 1. Canelo Alvarez is still there, even after his dominating loss to Dimitri Bivol. Dimitri Bivol was added to the list in lieu of dominating Canelo Alvarez. Artur Beterbiev just jumped on the list with his dominating second round knockout of Joe Smith Jr. Shakur Stevenson at number 10. Naoya Inoue is on the list for some reason. I don't understand that line of thinking. Lomachenko with 2 losses and no belts is on the list still. We got Errol Spence down at number 3 under Naoya Inoue and Terrence Crawford. Canelo Alvarez number 4. Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Tyson Fury is always and has been a heavyweight, but he's on the list for some reason. Alexander Usyk, I don't see a problem with him being on the list, him being an undisputed champion down at cruiserweight. I think that's a good call. Alexander Usyk is a different monster altogether. He's a great boxer, and he does belong on the pound for pound list regardless of what anybody has to say. But here's the problem. We have 2 other active undisputed champions in their relative weight divisions who are not on the pound for pound list. That being Jermell Charlo at 154, who just defeated Brian Castano to become the first 4-belt 154-pound undisputed champion of the world. And you also have Devin Haney, who went all the way over to Australia, accepted less money for a fight because he wanted to be undisputed. It was for legacy, not money. And he almost didn't have his father and trainer, Bill Haney, in his corner. Dominated George Kambosos, took his belts, became undisputed, but he's not on the list. So here's the problem here. We have a guy in Canelo Alvarez who just lost in dominating fashion. I mean 12 rounds to zilch. You could give him 2, but 2 to 10, 12 zilch, not too much of a difference. And he's still number 4 on the pound for pound list. And people want to say, you know, he was daring to be great. The guy was a lot bigger. You can't say that because Canelo Alvarez has an active belt at 175. He had one by defeating the Crusher, the old Crusher, Sergey Kovalev. So it's a weight he's been at before. He's been comfortable there. He was just dominating. He was just outboxed by a better boxer in Dimitri Bivol. And somehow they still keep him on the list. Canelo Alvarez is now 2 losses in his career. Still considered to be the best boxer in the world by many people. He still stays on the list, nonetheless. You also have Vasily Lomachenko. Vasily Lomachenko now is 2 losses, no belts whatsoever. but he somehow is staying on the list. And the problem here is that we have two undisputed black fighters in their relative weight divisions that aren't on the list. You know, a lot of people are starting to point this out. Steven Espinosa, the man over at ESPN, the man's running ESPN boxing. I want to say, not ESPN, but Showtime. Steven Espinosa over. He runs Showtime boxing. You know, he pointed out the massive problem with ESPN's pound for pound list, and that's no Shakur Stevenson, no Jermell Charlo, two active undisputed fighters in the relative weight divisions who are not being featured on the pound for pound list. You have Dimitri Bivol on there, and Dimitri Bivol only has 18 fights, 19 fights. He hasn't even been undisputed in his weight division. He still has to face the likes of Artur Beterbiev. But because he defeated the face of boxing, Canelo Alvarez, people say he has to be pound for pound material. Artur Beterbiev, great boxer. I think nobody beats him at 175. If it's going to be anybody, it's going to be Bivol. But he hasn't really done anything to be on a pound for pound list. He's on there now because of a domination over Joe Smith Jr., which is a good boxer, but he's nothing special, nothing crazy. You know, people say that pound for pound lists are opinion at the end of the day of who thinks the best boxers in the world. No, there's no opinion because there's consistencies among a lot of big pound for pound lists, and they exclude active, undisputed, talented, great black boxers. When you see that type of thing, that's not an opinionated. It's not centered around opinion or anything like that. It's centered around an agenda. If Shakur Stevenson, he barely made it on the list. He's at number 10. Yeah, Shakur Stevenson. But if Devin Haney and Jermell Charlo on the list, then you would have Errol Spence Jr., Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Jermell Charlo, Terrence Crawford. Who else? Who else is on that list? That's 5 people that would make up half of a pound for pound list. 5 black people. I'm gonna say it again: Jermell Charlo, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford. You know, that's 5, and they don't like you know, a pound for pound list of the greatest boxing world being being made up of people of African American descent, you know, and that's the agenda behind it. It's not the opinion. You know, you gotta call red, and that's what's going on. You know, at the end of the day, pound for pound list doesn't have any like big meaning, or it's not going to affect how boxers move and what they do. But something needs to be said about that type of thing. If people want to know who the best boxers in the world are, they deserve to know who it is, who they are. And what ESPN is doing right now is only killing boxing. You know, you got Naoya Inoue on the list, and his best win, period, is a 40-year-old over-the-hill Nonito Donaire. You got to call it how you see it. What has he done to do on the list? He's not undisputed. You know, he hasn't moved. He has a 6-pound. He's moved 6 pounds back and forth over his career with different weight divisions. That's it. Nothing special up there, but somehow he's number 2, the best boxer in the world. Dimitri Bivol, biggest win is a Canelo Alvarez. But Canelo Alvarez gets to stay on the list with Dimitri Bivol. You know, the same Canelo Alvarez right now that's not trying to avenge his loss, but go and fight a 40-year-old Triple G. A man that said he would never step back in the ring with Triple G. He's over and done that. That was when Triple G was looking dangerous a couple years ago when we wanted to fight. But now, man, he's closing in. The only other fights he has is a Jermell Charlo, David Benavidez, Artur Beterbiev, a Dimitri Bivol. You know, he don't want to fight none of them guys, man. He want to fight somebody who he knows he's going to beat. 2 L's back-to-back in his career would be catastrophic, even for the Canelo man fans. They ain't gonna go for that. And he's trying to save face, but somehow he still gets to stay on there. So that's why I wanted to point out, guys, there's a big discrepancy. There's two guys who hands down should be on the pound for pound list and aren't being featured. And there's a problem there. I got to speak on that. I be coming with more videos. Got to talk about Errol Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford coming up. We know this coming up around the end of this year. I have faith. I think I know it will happen. Well, I know it will happen. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. These brothers ready to get in the ring. We got a potential Gervonta Davis versus Devin Haney fight coming up. I would love to see that. Don't know if it's going to happen. If it does, it'll be beautiful for the sport of boxing. I want to talk about Eddie Hearn also saying that Canelo versus Triple G3 is 10 times bigger than Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford. That's nonsense. But those are other videos, other times. On that note, it's your boy Zane. Catch y'all with another video. Like, share, subscribe. I'm out.